And moving on from there, I'd briefly like to mention from Planet of the Dead, Lady Cristina de Souza, I believe, is the character name. I'm referring to notes here because when it comes to the specials, I've seen them the least, so I don't remember all the character names off the top of my head. But what's notable here is you have a name like the Lady Cristina de Souza, and you're thinking, someone, of extravagance, somebody who probably attends balls and, things of that sort. And here she is, a cat burglar, for all intents and purposes. She's the Doctor Who equivalent of Catwoman in a very basic sense. But for that, I just think it's cool that, you have a royal-sounding name, if you will, and yet someone who is, more criminal, if you will. The irony in that is notable to me. Moving on from there comes The Waters of Mars, and the best described as companion for that comes Adelaide Brooke. And as I referenced in the previous podcast, Prelude, the whole Time Lord Victorious, the Doctor, basically coming to the point where he realizes he can do what he wants in the history books, and messing with time to his liking if he so chooses, which is not necessarily right. And she is willing to basically say, you messed with the way things were supposed to be, thus I am alive. And spoiler alert, she ends her life, bringing all the crushing weight of the world back down on the Doctor, the reality of what he's done, that he's crossed the line, personally within himself, between right and wrong. And effectively, though, I think it's the closest he's ever gotten to becoming full-on Time Lord, when you look at some of the more villainous Time Lords like the Master and Rassilon in the End of Time, I think. But that's actually where I'm moving on to next, the End of Time, where we have companion Wilfred Mott, who is the grandfather of Donna Noble, and he is just a wily old coot, and I love him. The biggest thing I'd like to mention with him, this little scene that comes before a big sort of Star Wars-esque space battle that's somewhat brief. All through the two-parter, Wilf has been seeing these visions of a time lady that, people theorize could be the Doctor's mother, could it be his granddaughter Susan, or even Time Lady Romana. We never get a full-on answer at this point, but in one particular instance, she insists upon Wilf for Wilf to hand over his service revolver to the Doctor, and there's a point that's kind of a somber moment when the Doctor's really taking into account everything that's going on with the Master and the threat, the impending threat that's happening and unfolding. And Wilf, in a tearjerker moment, tries to implore the Doctor to take his gun and kill the Master. And at first the Doctor is very reluctant to accept it, but upon learning there's more to the story, the Master is not the only one involved in everything that's going on, the Doctor actually shifts and kind of loses it and grabs the gun and takes it and charges off to, who knows what's going to happen at that point. I won't spoil the story. But there's another scene where, again, a tearjerker, where Wilf and the Doctor are just sitting in, like a diner or a coffee shop. And I think you can even find this scene on YouTube. And the Doctor is explaining about essentially what the regeneration process is like, and it turns out Wilf has brought him there to show him Donna and where she's at in her life at that point, and insist upon the Doctor to, so to speak, make her well again, and which of course the Doctor can't really do, but it's, there's Bernard Cribbins is the actor who plays Wilf, and I'm not familiar with his history, not being over in Britain, so this is really the only time I've ever seen him on screen. But he's very emotive, and when his eyes well up with tears, you, the viewer's eyes, are right there with him, feeling his emotion. And the way he portrayed it is just astounding and great and beautiful. But as if anyone, with a mild interest in Doctor Who would know, David Tennant's time pretty much wraps up at that point. Some could say as a result of Wilf. And if you're curious about what that means, go watch the episode. I definitely highly recommend it. But that ushers us into the 11th Doctor's era, as portrayed by Matt Smith, and the first companion of his we meet in the 11th hour. We actually conveniently meet what will become his two mainstay companions during Series 5 in the modern series of Doctor Who. There's more focus on a little girl that he meets at first, Amelia Pond. He then meets her grown up, and she's calling herself Amy, having been somewhat traumatized from seeing this imaginary man, the Raggedy Doctor, at a very young age in her life, and she's had a tumultuous life because of that, and no one having any faith and belief in her that this was a real person, so that when the Doctor comes back, they sort of have a clash when they meet again. But we also meet her eventual husband, Rory, and these two together, along with Matt Smith, all through Series 5, they just all immediately were endeared to me from Episode 1, the outset of Episode 1, and their ups and downs, I'm not going to cite any specific moments, but except maybe to say the depth in their brief wedding scene during the last episode of the main Series 5, the whole something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue theme, and what exactly that item is, and Amy's wish for the Doctor to be there and everything. Just a great culmination, and so that kind of brings me to the end of this little trip, though, with looking at the Doctor's companions. These are all the ones that have been noteworthy to me specifically, and I'm sure I could, if given the time, dig up more moments here and there throughout Doctor Who history, and other companions even that I'm probably not even familiar with, different things that I could discuss, but these are the ones that I always remember fondly the most, and stuff like that. So basically, I hope you enjoyed this, if you've stayed all the way through the what will probably be 2 or 3 parts, and so I hope I've accomplished a nice little jog down memory lane for myself as well as you, the listener, and if you share a love in Doctor Who, give me a comment and let me know something that you particularly found interesting or notable or fond remembrances of. Be sure to comment if you're inspired. Hit that like button, favorite this, even subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Hopefully there will still be avenues of Doctor Who that I'll be willing and exuberant to talk about in the future. So For now, this is SXE Blues signing off.